The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. I'm NATO Agbayani and I'm streaming directly from Quezon City. Good evening. Welcome to Hashtag Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Good evening. This is NATO Agbayani. You're still watching Hashtag Para sa Bayan on our 51st episode, 54th episode on educating the next generation and why it matters. So we'd like to greet, of course, everyone, all our teachers in the entire country and those who are abroad as well. We'd like to greet you National Happy Teachers Day and Happy Teachers Month. So for everybody's a little background on my mother. So my mom was a public school teacher, and she used to teach at Ramon Magsaysay, España in Manila. Now I think the building used to be around 5 floors. Now I think they, through the courtesy of Manila City Council and former Mayor Isko Moreno, it's already being constructed as a 10-story building, the same with the different high schools in Manila. So we'd like to greet everyone, all our friends, all our family members who are teachers and who are educators. Last year we had Dr. Carl Balita with us, and he discussed a lot about the national the situation of teachers. Just maybe for starters, we'd like to give you a little background on the budget, no, of DepEd. Ed. Of course, DepEd Ed handles those students in the elementary up to senior high school. So from 633.3 billion in 2022, of course, the budget has grown to 710 billion in 2023. And that's for all the in the entire country. There's like around 28 million learners for elementary and high school, and of course for the college in 2023 we had about 18 million 939,000 students. So if you combine that 28 plus 18, so practically half of the population is studying or in school. But there is a sector of our society that or what we call the out of school youth, that's about almost 4.3 million, no? Almost 3 million in the entire country. So why does it matter that we have to educate our young people, no? We're saying that in the future, of course, with the advent of AI and machine learning, there's a lot of new careers that's coming up. Dati, di ba, pag nauso yung nursing, everybody goes nursing. Pag nauso yung different courses like IT before or ICT, everybody goes to ICT. Nauso din, of course, because we are a deployer nation for marine or sea-based OFWs. I think we are number one in the world, no? Practically in every ship around across the world, there are Filipinos working, whether ito yung mga tanker or even those that are cruise ships or even those that are trading ships, no? So maraming Pilipino all across the globe um, that have come to do that career. So let me just say a little thing about. I think for this coming 2024, the General Appropriations Act, I think has been the deliberations have finished, not just commenced, no. So it's coming to about 780 billion pesos for the DepEd. Of course, currently or recently, there were discussions about the 150 million confidential funds of the office. But later, I will discuss that, and I will discuss first why it matters to educate our next generation. In the world, no, globally, there are now about 10 most in-demand jobs. One of that is being a software developer. Another one is being an engineer. Um, there's a career in information security analysis dahil po dun sa mga cyber attacks, cyber crimes, which I know some of our viewers have experienced, yung na-hack kayo or yung Facebook account nyo bigla na lang mangungutang or manghihingi ng pera but it's not you, no? Then also we're talking about careers in data science. And then of course, the nurses are still yung nurse practitioner, no, or registered nurses are still in demand globally because as the population of the world increases, ilang billions na po tayo sa buong mundo. Of course, there would be an aging population na kailangan ng healthcare and even ordinary people, no, yung mga not so young but not so old na kailangan din ng care, no, because of our lifestyle. There are lifestyle diseases like diabetes, heart hypertension, and so many other. And of course, with the advent of the pandemic and the viruses, parang nangangailangan talaga ng mga medical practitioners. There are those na web developers, kailangan din natin, no? And then, of course, computer security professionals. And then physician assistants. Naturally, one of those jobs in the future that will be very in demand would be being a physician or a medical doctor. So lahat po yan, if you look at it, we need to understand that there's a huge demand now for those in the data sciences, cyber security. Napakarami na pong mga courses na kailangan natin mag-shift. So traditionally our schools, no, we nung binuo po yung grades 11 to 12, may different strands. Merong gas, merong STEM, merong ABM, merong UMS, merong iba't ibang tracks na tinatawag. No? Even the DepEd, yung modules natin before there was Makabayan, of course that emphasizes a lot of subject matters. Nagkaroon ng mga performance tasks, etc. But with the advent again of the pandemic, nag-change po yan, nag-shift tayo to a lot of online learning. So marami po ngayon, may tinatawag tayong synchronous and asynchronous learning. Now, when we talk about DepEd, there were times, I think, in the glory days of DepEd, maraming young people, for example, from Leyte, who do not have so much facilities, and yet, at the end of the day, they were able to top exams, I think, in mathematics and other subject matter. Even nag-top sila uh, over those in NCR where we have more facilities, etc. No, so at the end of the day, parang I think they made a study about that, and what came out is it's really the quality of the teachers or the dedication of the teachers, because at the end of the day we have a huge teaching pool, no, sa buong Pilipinas, and we know for a fact that there are many good teachers. I can recall in my high school days that there are teachers, those that I really will not forget because of their the way they taught us in our school in Claret, no. And then even in the public schools, I came from a public school in elementary, and at that time, during my time, the quality was still, shall we say, very very good. But of course, even now we're not saying that the quality is bad. Maybe the numbers have increased, and that's really a problem. No? Kasi parang sinasabi natin, parang sa kapulisan din, no? There's so many policemen, and then there's so many teachers, and we add teachers every year because we need to parang match the infrastructure, like kailangan ng classrooms. If you have so many enrollees, you need so many classrooms. Pero alam naman po natin, as a matter of fact, no, we have about 42,000 barangays, and spread across the 42,000 barangays are the elementary schools, which is the, kumbaga, yan yung battlefront natin at the ground level. When we say we want to educate the young people, it happens there. So parang, well, in terms of ratio, parang every barangay has an elementary school, and then maybe in some clusters of barangays we have a high school or a national high school for even bigger areas. And um, the design, I suppose, we got it from the Americans initially when they introduced the public educational system. Now, of course, there are private schools, and these are privately funded. People pay tuition fees, but alam niyo, mga kasama, at the end of the day, sometimes those who are in the private school shift to public schools. Why? Because the cost, of course, public school education is free. Although, syempre, yan po, kailangan natin ng mga, syempre, pera for projects, pera for pamasahe, pera for merienda para po sa ating school children. No? And then a lot, sabi nga ni Dr. Carl Balita, no, we have many good teachers, we have good students as well, but nutrition is a factor. Pagka po walang laman, sinasabi niya is pag walang laman yung tiyan or the nutrition is bad, they are also having problems with trying to learn. No? So that's why it really matters, no, for the next generation to be educated. Ang tanong, um, ano ba yung mga support systems para po sa ating learners? With the with what happened with COVID, di ba, natuto rin tayo na magkaroon ng mga online learning. In some areas, actually, with DepEd, yung learning was through walkie-talkie, learning was through radio programs. So in many ways, they adjusted, no, their I remember sila Dr. Lily Briones when she was still DepEd secretary, and also with Elaine Mulion, no, Elaine, USEC Elaine. Talagang ang daming forms ang ginamit because that was COVID, di ba? So we had to deploy education and deliver it through many forms. And to me, that's really very challenging. And again, of course, it's challenging kasi every year po nag-i-increase ang enrollment. But also the dropout rate continues. So merong nagda-drop out because of so many problems. And that's what we want to talk about now. No? Ano ba yung mga support systems na kailangan natin? What can the DepEd budget do? Of course, there are other ways that we can educate our young people, and that's of course through after senior high school they can go to college. Or for those who want to learn skills, of course, TESDA is there. And then TESDA is also maganda pong ginagawa rin ng TESDA natin. Kilala naman natin yung mga very dedicated career people dyan, even sa DepEd and lalong-lalo na po sa CHED. We have very dedicated career people, mga nakasama na rin po natin sa Kongreso na nagtuturo sa ating mga kabataan. So, pag sinabi nating basic education, of course, that's the elementary high school up to senior high school, which is supposed to be dahil it's a universal system. Sa buong mundo po kasi it's really K to 12. Tayo lang po yung medyo nahuli, so inadapt natin yung K to 12. Yung ibang mga magulang, syempre nag-react, bakit may K to 12 pa? Pahirap pa yan yung additional 2 years, no? Pero it's a global standard. So sumabay lang po actually ang Pilipinas with the K to 12 system. So we will not be left behind. So ang idea is after you finish, for example, STEM or UMS, after you finish grade 12, you can start becoming employed. Kung hindi po niya kayang ituloy up to college, even at grade 12, a learner may be able to work muna and then eventually continue education in college. Then also there's a track ng skills which is through TESDA. Merong cookery, baking, iba't iba, IT, computer repairs, carpentry, automotive. So marami pong skills because if these people don't want to go to college or don't have the means to go to college, pwede po silang magkumuha ng skills through TESDA and be certified as NC1, NC2, or NC3. Depende po sa linya ng kanilang kinukuhang skills levels. So, alam niyo naman po na dito sa Pilipinas, while sabihin na natin there is some sort of stigma, ay hindi nakapag-aral, ay hindi nakapagtapos ng college, ano naman mararating mo kasi ganyan, 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 no? But of course, abroad and even here in the Philippines, skilled labor is very important. Hindi naman po lahat pwedeng maging executives. Hindi naman po lahat ng tao ay pwedeng maging boss or shall we say managers. So there will be people, we will need skills. In the US, for example, skilled workers are mostly paid higher. So pagka po kukuha sila ng karpintero, for example, sa bahay, or tubero, or a plumber, or someone who can fix the house, or an electrician, it really pays well. So a lot of Filipinos, if I'm not mistaken, and then of course, syempre, kumpleto ang tools sa mga first world countries. You have power tools, etc., mga sensors, whatever, that they need to do kumaga yung skilled work nila very efficiently. So yung construction, hindi na po katulad sa atin, alam nyo naman, na pako, martilyo, lagare, doon po, they use power tools and it's very efficient. Now, even in Europe, ganun din po, yung mga skilled workers, for example, in Germany, they really are paid well. That's why we have TESDA. No? And then there are many skills, no? Even yung cosmetology, no? Yung mga nag-abroad, let's say for example sa Middle East, yung mga salon are Filipinos, no? Hindi yung no, typical, for example dito yung sinasabi nilang parlorista, usually of the third sex tinatawag nila, no? But doon anybody, babae, lalaki, third sex, doesn't matter. Yung skills ng ng beautician or cosmetologist talaga pong na-appreciate at is paid well. So sa CHED naman po, of course, with the 10 top careers that we need, no, for a to be globally competitive, yung kanina mga sinabi natin, ulitin ko po yung mga careers in the future or careers in demand now, yung software developer, engineer, information security analyst, data science professional, nurse practitioner, registered nurse, web developer, computer security expert, physician assistants, and even physicians. yan po, syempre nangangailangan niya ng higher studies. In the States, I think, merong mga nursing aid, no? So, if you are a nurse here, you can either come in sa US as a nursing aid, but you still have to take, I think, a short course, no? Pero it also pays well. And then, the value, of course, of the money in the country, in the Philippines, is a lot more, lalo na kung dollar earning sila. So kailangan pa rin po natin, like we have 18 million plus college students. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we have about 3 million or 3.2 million out of school youth. So ano ba yung factor bakit naging out of school youth? We can say, no, na either they do not have the means, they do not have the interest, or they have gone, they married young, or nagkaroon ng teenage pregnancy, so they dropped out of school, or other problems, no, like they have to work because they have to support the family. Marami pong factors, no. I think there are people who are working, well, from child labor to teenage to early 20s, no, nagtatrabaho sila syempre to support their families. So nakikita, yung iba totally wala talaga, walang opportunities or walang means, so they do not go to school. But then again, we need to help these people kasi they need to go to school at the end of the day. We don't want anybody left behind. Now, maraming skills po yung kailangan to survive. No? In our case, for example, my son goes to a SPED school. What they teach are life skills na tinatawag, or skills that they need so they can survive in a world na independently. And that's very important. No? So, uh, yung budget po ba ng DepEd, for example, babalik po tayo sa DepEd, ngayon, it's going to be around 780 million. Malaking portion po dyan, masasabi natin, goes to pay teachers. Because we have so many teachers, no? In the Philippines alone, we have about, siguro, we will, in the Philippines alone, there's so many teachers, no? Maybe, if you, kung ang Pilipinas ay merong 28 million learners, no, if you ratio it kahit sa kahit sa per classroom, napakarami po, 'di ba? They estimate that we have about DepEd as a total of about 836,000 teachers representing so many students, no? So ang dami-dami. And of course, ang daming levels po niyan. Also, we need principals, natural, 'di ba? Sa DepEd, balik lang po tayo. We have several levels, no. We have the master teacher, yan yung pinakamataas. Of course. And then merong master teacher 3, merong master teacher 2, and then merong master teacher 1, then instructor 3, instructor 2, teacher 3, teacher 2, teacher 1, meron din po sa SPED. So you have SPED teacher 5, you have SPED teacher 4, 3, 2, 1, and the special science teacher. Ganyan po yung yan po yung yung kumbaga layers or pagkakasunod-sunod ng ating mga teachers nationwide. So there's about 836,193. So ang dami po, di ba? So sa gobyerno, ang pinakamalalaking structure, andyan yung military, PNP, and then DepEd is the biggest. That's why it also has a big budget. Now, ang tanong, I don't want to, later na lang siguro, I will tell you more about the confidential funds, no? Of course, this is the highest, no, sa term ni Vice President Duterte. This is the highest amount, no, of confidential funds. That's why I think in the Senate, this was questioned by several senators. But of course, it is controversial, and we want to leave it at that. We want to have them continue the questioning, and then tayo po, what matters for us is paano ba natin magagamit o ma-maximize ang resources ng Department of Education for really teaching the children and TESDA and CHED and all the other agencies of government that's really directed to support the education sector. Kasi napakarami po nating schools, even the private schools, no? So, and then, of course, we need to transform the organization and even the organizations or the institutions, meaning DepEd, TESDA, and CHED, to become in the face of AI, in the face of machine learning. Kasi po nangyayari ngayon, for example, if I have to do a paper, I can ask ChatGPT to do a paper. I just need to ask the right questions and it will produce the words for me and give me, parang dati po, di ba, thesis, mag-look to the sky ka, magre-research ka, hanapin mo lahat-lahat ng kailangan mo para po isulat sa papel at sa typewriter. You make several drafts, no? Ngayon, parang ini-edit mo na lang is yung output ng ChatGPT, no? So, or even different AI tools na napakarami po ngayon. You can download it for free. And in the face of that, paano yung education? No? Nung una, when we were in elementary, syempre, ang teacher ang hari or reyna ng classroom. And you look up to the teacher or the professor or the instructor dahil sila po ang, kumbaga, nagdadala ng learning. Now, as we came into the fourth industrial revolution, dumami na po yung tools natin and we're optimizing resources of technology. Ang nangyayari po, we are now just facilitators for educating the public or in the public schools. Pero marami pa rin po, no? Walang equipment, even in the rural areas, napakarami pa pong educators na kulang po sa tools. Mga schools na even the teachers, they buy their own crayons or they buy their own chalk, they buy their own Manila paper. May mga ganun pa rin po tayong situation. And even with the huge budget of DepEd, napakalaki pa rin po nung gap. Napakalaki pa rin po nung kulang. So, yun po. I mean, with that, we now have a situation where one, we need to educate the next generation. And the education that we will provide must encompass, no? I mean, of course, constantly naman po din-develop ng tatlong institution na yan ng ating education sector. And constantly may learning even among the teachers and the higher-ups, the principals, the district supervisors. Kasi po ganun po yung bureaucracy natin, ano, yung structure ng ating educational system. Now the question is, should we change it? Should we adapt to the future or should we make it future-proof? I think the answer is yes, no? Definitely yes, because as jobs are overtaken by technology, we need to have new skills, no? We have to retool and upskill our students and the next generation in a manner that, of course, is revolutionary, so to speak. No? Hindi na po pwede yung long lectures, long notes. There's a lot of use of video nowadays. Even assignments are made via YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. So ganun po. And then even the attention span of our young people are getting shorter. So later, after the break, we will go deeper into what we must do for the next generation and why it matters. Ito yung technical lang po pag pinag-uusapan natin, yung background ng DepEd, etc., yung educational system. But later, we'll try to discuss the gist of what we want to happen with the education sector. So, ladies and gentlemen, magbe-break lang po tayo ng maiksing-maiksi. We will come back after this break dito po sa hashtag para sa bayan here on the new channel. See you later po.
Ang ubo, mabilis lumala. Kaya dapat agapan. Dapat New Soul Mix Advanced Syrup. May 2 times zinc para ang ubo, imbis na lumala, tulungang mabilis mawala. New Soul Mix Advanced Syrup.
Unilab yan.
Ang 40D tumutulong
Hello, good evening. You're still watching hashtag Para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Please don't forget to watch all our shows here on TNC. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online media shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of viewers through engaging, authentic, original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. Yan. So, don't forget also to watch hashtag Para sa Bayan every Saturdays, 9 p.m. And you can watch it live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Just search hashtag TNCNew. Okay, and then of course for sponsorships, you can email now at thenewchannel.com. Okay, so we're back on the show here. Again, this is the 51st episode on the new channel here on PSB Para sa Bayan, and we're discussing educating the next generation and why it matters. Kanina we discussed very basic issues about DepEd's budget, and then of course its role, its structure, not just DepEd but also CHED and TESDA. No? So again, we'd like to greet all our friends in DepEd, in TESDA, and in CHED. No, we'd like to congratulate everyone for doing a good job. Alam mo, dito po sa hashtag Para sa Bayan, we don't want to bash our people in government because at the end of the day, sino po ang tutulong, ang magtutulungan, magbabayanihan. Sabi nga natin dito, ang hashtag natin, magbayanihan tayo. Hindi po magsiraan tayo kasi at the end of the day, we believe in affirmative change. If we use all our strengths together, and then we can have a first world nation as envisioned by the different economists, no, in the world and even here in the Philippines. Sabi nila, very soon in 2050, the Philippines will be the 16th largest economy, and we want to reach that status. No? At sandali na lang po yun. This is 2023. Hopefully, in our lifetime, we will see that the country become a first world country. But again, we go deeper into the issues of the educational system. No? tingnan natin yung mga articles on the newspaper about what's happening. So sabi sa Philstar, we need higher educational budget. Yeah, more classrooms, teachers, education support personnel. So hindi lang teachers po ha, pati education support personnel, functional facilities, and sufficient instructional and learning materials. Yan ang malaking question. How do we deliver that education to the schools, to the learners, using new systems also? Kasi I think we were also pioneers no nung sa online learning systems. We started in early 2000, I think 2002 or 2001, when we started working with the private sector to deliver alternative learning modules to the public. No, we were part of that effort, and we are still advocates for education, not just because we need it, but also because it matters to the country's development. No? Kaya nga, hashtag para sa bayan po tayo. Gusto nating umunlad ang bansa. And the only way we can do that is really to educate as many people, as many young people as possible, not just with academic knowledge, but shall we say, pati yung moral fiber. Because at the end of the day, you can have intelligent, genius students, and yet they do not have the moral values, no, to really create a system where family is respected, the families are respected, teachers are respected, and the educational system is used to affirm or to edify the entire country, and even the basic unit, which is the family. So meron din tayong article from Manila Bulletin ang sinasabi in 2023 dun sa State of Philippine Education. It said that the declining mental health among students and teachers, lack of support for teachers, culture of mass promotion, yung tipong, oh teka, wag tayo magbaksak, iangat natin lahat, no, of learners, and lack of proper assessments. Because in learning, in tinatawag namin, for example, kaming mga nasa training, no, or sa organizational development, very critical yung training needs analysis. So those of us in OD, before in the private sector and also helping the public sector, very critical yung assessments. No? How, what is the state, or what we need to diagnose what people need for them to be educated. Tapos yung mental health issues, this is really serious because in recent times, no, we have had so many suicides, no, we have had so many dropouts. Those who feel na parang there's a stigma or konting lang, no, konting problema, and then they give up, and that's really an issue that we need to address very very strongly, no. When I say strongly, kailangan intentional, purposive tayo to address yung mental health among our students and teachers. Take note. Ay, anong tingin natin sa mga teachers? They are supermen or superwomen. Hindi po. Talagang they also suffer mental health issues because of the stress that they are going through in teaching. Sabi nga po nila, wag ka raw mag-girlfriend or mag-asawa ng teacher kasi wala silang time. They always bring their work at home. Totoo po yun. No? I mean, it's really a reality na ang mga teachers may take home pa. No? May take home pa na trabaho. They need to check grades, etc. Sometimes tinetext pa po ng mga estudyante. And it's really, shall we say, kumbaga, nawawala na yung, nagbablur na yung lines between the professional and the private life of teachers. And that's why we salute all the teachers again po, no, sa National Teachers Day at sa National Teachers Month. Ako po, I have, sabi ko nga, ang mother ko, even good friends have been our teachers. So we respect you, we believe in you, we affirm you. Yan po, no. Please continue to educate our young people. They need it, the country needs it. Yan po. So anyway, meron pa pong problema isa pa. No? So in the future, ano ba magiging problema ng educational system? Ang isang Ang isang problema in the future will be formal education will be replaced by training programs for employability. Ito yung sabi ng CIIT. No? Bakit? In the next normal, yun yung term nila sa future. No? Philippine society will not view tertiary degrees as one of the main requirements of employability. And it is the same for the entire world. Ganun po. Ibig sabihin, hindi ko mo may college degree ka, ikaw na. Ibig sabihin, what is important is employability. So for example, nowadays we have a lot of work from home people, those who are in college still or even just finish high school, but since the yung halimbawa ang gawain is social media manager, you don't need a degree for that. Or a web developer, you don't need a degree for that, but training programs, for example, even po sa professional training, no, hindi pa considered, for example, ang Lean Six Sigma. It's a system in manufacturing na pwede kang ma-certify. Marami ngayon po professional certification programs that you don't need a degree to get, no? So and that also adds to your employability or your ika nga for us consultants, for example, in one of the companies that I have consulted for, merong training in the States na it's about family business, no, and it costs a lot, but after that you are able to provide consulting for families of wealth, and it's a really a certification that's global. It is among peers. Kami, for example, I got a certification for a registered financial planner and a registered estate planner. It's a 1 week course, and after that, you are certified that you can provide, for example, estate consulting services para sa mga pamilya, and you can also provide financial planning consulting for clients. And it's a big organization. It's an international organization of accredited registered financial planners. So merong peer accreditation. It's self-regulated. Hindi po siya college degree or hindi siya, no, pero it's a short course. Ganun naman din po. Nagsishift din ang ating mga major universities or even our top schools giving naman, shall we say, training that provides, for example, leadership or entrepreneurship. Yun po eh. So there will be a paradigm shift. No? So education will not only be degree-based. Kasi po, alam mo naman sa Pilipinas, no, lalo na sa aming probinsya, for example, in Pangasinan, people are very, lalo na yung mga lolo't lola po namin and even our parents, very proud ang mga Pilipino, ang mga Pangasinense na nag-graduate or nagkaroon ng degree ang kanilang mga anak. And in fact, you can still see it in their homes, no? Meron pong mga nakasulat doon, kunyari, NATO Agbayani, professional, licensed professional teacher or architect or kung ano man pong professional degree. And it's nakasulat yun sa bahay nila, nakapaskin, tapos it's parang color black, and then it's all there because parang to the old old school, very important yung college degree. And then di ba nga, it's a traditional Filipino value. With the Filipino Chinese naman, of course, they are mostly business people, but tinitrain din nila yung kanilang mga anak to become entrepreneurs even at a young age. No? So for example, you have a hardware or you have a restaurant, yung mga bata are trained already to take over, no? To take over the business after they have learned everything. Even sa mga taipans natin, no? Even sa mga big companies natin na family-owned, andyan yung tinitrain na yung mga kabataan for not employability, but to take over the business, to become entrepreneurs themselves like their parents. And come to think of it, you do not need a degree for that. But then again, ito nga sinasabi natin. Yung next generation, kailangan nila ng, or even our DepEd, our CHED, and our TESDA needs to, hindi naman reinvent, but realign resources to how the tools will be deployed. No? Kasi currently, ang nangyayari ngayon is, so many teachers, siguro in a few years, we will have 1 million teachers no, teaching. Kumbaga, they will be 1% of the entire population very soon. Kasi po, ang dami po nating teachers talaga, yung mga licensed professional teachers. Although some of them are not teaching here. Yung iba po, for example, after a time, lalo na yung mga English major, they teach in Thailand, they teach in Japan, they teach in China, mainland, they teach in the different countries in the world, no? Teaching young people English. Since we are known to be a, shall we say, yung proficiency ng English o ang Ingles ng Pilipinas ay napakataas, supposed to be. Pero ganun din po, meron din sa Pilipinas, nandiyan din yung English shaming, ika nga, kumbaga binabastardize yung English and people make fun of it. No? Which is, sayang naman po in other countries, it's being, ika nga sinasamban nila yung magagaling mag-English dahil natuturuan sila because they only know their native language. Wala po silang second language, no? But then again, yeah, it's the way we Filipinos do it, no? Parang meron nga yung intelligence or intelligent shaming ka. Parang kung matalino ka or if you are a bit more intelligent than your classmates or you are an achiever, you are bashed. So yun po, this is also a culture, a negative culture that we need to reverse. No? So anyway, I'm at the tail end of this show, and I just like to say na other than all the things, all about infrastructure, all about the tools that we need to develop for the next generation, I think the most important value that we can create, or the most important thing that we can pass on to our young people is, of course, our Filipino culture, which is different from other cultures, and our values. No, I'm not saying that there's a specific faith, no, but we have faith, and there are moral values that need to be not forgotten by our young people, because anywhere you go, tradition or culture is also important. No, I don't know if you watch yung Elemental, no, sa Disney. It was an animated movie, and it showed you the values of certain families or certain cultures and how important it is, how important the Filipino culture is, the value of respect, the value of kahit nga yung as simple as po and opo, because it gives a sign of respect. And then, of course, in the belief in a supreme being. At the end of the day, yung learning becomes empty if it is only based on human thought, na feeling natin we are independent of a creator, we are independent of a supreme being, no. Kasi at the end of the day, we can learn as much as we want. We can be as intellectual, and we can be as sabi nga nila, as educated as possible, or as trained as possible, and yet we do not have those values. So at the end of the day, sa workplace, sa school, or in corporate culture, we have forgotten who we are, or we have forgotten what our values are. And it's important that we have values at the end of the day, because our values will be our moral compass. Kaya nga we have people getting lost. No? They are working, they are earning, and yet there is no moral compass, and there's no direction. So they can do anything they want, whenever they want, with whoever they want. No? Di ba? Meron ganyan sa social media. It's a culture na parang it's okay to be kumbaga yung behavior mo is damaging, or at the end of the day it destroys institutions like your family, your community. It's not right, diba? It's not right, because at the end of the day, our role is really to spend our life and our education and use it for higher purposes, which is not just in this world, no? If I might say that, I don't need to be apologetic about it, no, but sinasabi nga nila in appreciative inquiry, for example, it's a philosophy that asks, what is the highest potential of a person? What is the highest potential of our next generation? What we're saying is, I don't know if we will live through it, if we will see it in our lifetime, that we can have a country, a first world country in 2050. But at the end of the day, rather than seeing just a country with a first world status, I'd rather see a country, hashtag para sa bayan, that is morally upright, and that, sabi nga nila, that seeks God, no? At the end of the day, sabi nila, unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers labor in vain. So, kahit ano po gawin natin, at the end of the day, if it is not built by our 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 God, no, it is nothing. Sabi nga nila, limited ang buhay. So ano ba yon? At the end of the day, educated ka na, napakatali-talino mo, double doctorate ka na, at marami ka ng skills, etc. And so, you end, yung life mo will end like that, no? Of course, tayo naman po, in our age, yung mga kasama natin na nanonood, na more mature, we need to transfer the technology, transfer the values to the young children or the young people, to mentor them in right, because there is right and wrong. There is no there is a moral standard. There is absolute moral right and moral good. And there is common good, and there is greater good. And the greater good, of course, is to have all our young people be educated with skills that are useful and valuable in now and in the coming days, no, with the advent of AI and machine learning. And at the end of the day, they should imbibe the values of being a Filipino, and at the end of the day, being a true lover of God, no? So I won't be apologetic, as I said again. I'm not a moralist. I'm not. I'm also a sinner. But at the end of the day, I think God has called me here to reach out to you, to edify the country through this program, through hashtag para sa bayan. So with that, we'd like to thank you for watching our show tonight, and hopefully we will have our season ender next Saturday, no? So please watch that. Don't miss it. So after that, we will have the end of season 4 and move on to season 5, hopefully with bigger and brighter guests and bigger and brighter discussions for you. We really try to make it valuable, no? Yung mga learnings po natin dito, what we have learned also in the last so many years of advocacy work for the country, to be imparted to you. Saan pa po natin dadalhin niya kundi dito sa ating mga kasama dito sa show, no? Dito sa hashtag para sa bayan, dito po sa TNC, as its only public affairs show, no? Discussing politics, government, and other subject matter. So with that po, I'd like to thank you for watching this show. Good night, everyone, and God bless you. Hope to see you on our season ender this coming Saturday. Bye-bye, guys. See you.